Okay, fine. This Shiur Amud Yomi Maseches Bava Metzia Daf Samech Ches Amud Beis. Right, that's where we are. I think Samech Ches Amud Beis. Bava Metzia. Welcome to everybody here that made it through the rain. Avas Shalom, and to everybody on YouTube and Torah anytime. So the Shiur Nishmas of Imor Menachem Ben Akiva Ruth Shalom Sor Bas Moish Ula Refuah. More on Iska. We are now dealing, excuse the pun, dealing with Iska. I just want to reframe, rephrase, and revisit the basics of Iska and why is that a problem. Tosfos, which we will probably see today, Metzia Hashem, gives you not a new definition, but just a very clear, almost graphic understanding of Iska, which means, listen to the following before we continue. By the way, we are in Bnei Rav Ilish. We are 5 lines before the bottom of the page. Yeah, Bnei Rav Ilish. But before we go on, let's listen to the main problem here with the outlook of Tosfos. If I got your, let's say, any kind of item which does not belong to me, I'm a worker, I'm the guy who does the legwork, and you are the investor. You brought me, what did you bring me? Any item in the world to invest in, either sell, right, and make a lot of money, and we'll split the money, or you brought me an animal, you brought me a little baby cow, a calf, and you want me to feed it so it's going to grow to be Ben Israel Neman, to be a nice big fat cow, we can sell the steaks, whatever. Those are, now, that item belongs to, well, who does it belong to? Belongs to the investor. The investor is the owner, right? Now, although I am hoping that one day when that bull will be really, really big and fat, or that horse will be a $10 million horse because I'll breed it nicely, then eventually we'll split the costs, okay? Now, if we split the costs eventually, right, then how should it be? What's the fair thing to do? I should take care of it one day, and you should take care of it another day. Why? Because we both hope to have. Why did we break? Why isn't it like that? Why do I work, yeah, and feed the horse and deal with that horse every day and not every other day? Because if you look at the shutfus, meaning that in future we're going to split split the jackpot, then why is it that I work Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and not just Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and say you are the one who's going to make as many millions as I do, so you come here Monday, Wednesday, Friday? Very, very simple. Why is it that I work your days? Very, very simple. Because the horse belongs to the one who actually brought the horse. The one who brought the money is you and not me. Here comes again the Ribbis monster laughing it all the way, which means, why am I working your days? Because you brought the money. The problem is that this money is alvo. Because if anything happens to the horse, even the oines gomu, which is not my fault, or it goes cheap, or it dies, absolute, none of my fault, and I still have to pay for it. That's because I'm a shoyel. A shoyel is like halvo. Alvo, that's why I have to pay you the minimum and never go below the minimum that you gave me. If I have to return to you from my own pocket what you gave me, that's called alvo. And we just chopped it. I'm working your days because, yeah, and I'm working myself off all day long because, or whatever, whichever work there is, including your time and your half. I'm working for your half. Why? Because you're the one who brought the money. Bringing the money under these conditions and that agreement is halvo. So be'etzem, that is either real ribbis, or according to most Rishonim, it's ribbis derabanan. It's avak ribbis. You may ask why, but soon you're going to see that this agreement is not ribbis d'oraisa. It's not ribbis ktsutza. It's not a ribbis that's decided upon, mamish. Yeah, we know there's ribbis. You can ask why, okay. But lemaisa, most Rishonim deal with this agreement as an avak ribbis derabanan, which is still osir. Definitely looks like ribbis, even if it's not, but it's extremely close to the real thing. So Rabbanon for sure forbade it mitzad ribbis. What's the solution? So far we had 2 solutions. I'm repeating, I'm reviewing, I'm revising. Yes. And what did we say? There were two solutions. What are the two solutions to the problem? Either you, the investor, say, Michael Toivis, doesn't matter. If that horse, the little cutesy horse which I just gave you to breed, is worth now, I don't know, 2,000 shekels, and it's dead, Moichel, then it's okay, because it's not halvo. I'm not expecting anything back, right? If it happens be'oines, you're just a shomer, something, chinam, sochor maybe. You're oines, no problem. Then I'm not a malve. If I'm not a malve, I'm the good guy. You can work for me for free. Second, we'll see more solutions. The second and much more widely discussed option is what? Pay. Give that other person, the worker, what I call the leg worker, the one doing the leg work, the one who's actually sitting in the shop, the one actually breeding the cow, the one doing the job, give him another incentive. Give him another kind of salary, even minimal salary, either the minimum of a poel, out of all different workers in the farm, give him the minimal amount. According to Rashi, should be more. According to others, showing minimal. Or give him even something symbolic. Go out with him for lunch and give him a little bit of food together with you in the hummus and pita, something small at the coffee shop, in Kofix, even the cheap place. It's okay to do that because that shows that his incentive in working is not just because of the alva. There's another thing in the corner on the side which incentivizes him to do the job. So just bear in mind, and this is something we have to do before the math of the upcoming sugya. Whenever the person, meaning the worker, who does the, we call in Hebrew the avodah shchora, does the dirty work, does the hard work, if he has any other reason to gain, if he has any other source of gain, of income, of profit from that deal besides the mere fact that the guy lent him the money, if I have, let's say you're the investor, Baruch, yeah, you invested all the money, but have another reason why I do your work besides the mere fact you brought the money, listen to me, yeah? Again, if I have another profit gain, Indian, whatever, any other monetary value here that breaks, that makes it worth it for me to do your part of the job, besides the fact you brought in the money in the malva, that's already good enough. It's instead. We view it as instead. Yeah. No, I just explained why. For the incentive of me getting million, I would say I'll work for my million, not for yours. Let me give another example, not the horse breeding example. I have 20 pairs of very, very fancy shoes, new make from Italy, and I want to sell them in Israel. We started with very small collection, a very fancy shop, 20 pairs of shoes. Soon we'll be billionaires. That will be the shoes the entire Tel Aviv is going to wear, and also Mea Shearim soon. So now, how many pairs did I say? 20? Good. So now 10 mine eventually will make, I don't know, 20 million, right? So I'm fantasizing, my 10 million and your 10 million are two separate stories. I'll invest in my 10 shoes, not in your 10 shoes, right? That makes it even clearer. Why am I investing in all the shoes? Anyhow, I will not going to get the other half. Why should I invest like a fryer, right? The answer is because really you were the one who brought the money. So it makes it justifiable that I'll work the whole thing because you're the one who actually brought me to the whole Indian. I have to be, bow down to you like a lemele because you brought in all the money. But at the end of the day, because the money was brought in the front of Valva, it's Ribbis. So I need another reason why I'm going to work the shop and work my body off the whole time. Because why? Because I have another incentive. The big boss is going to take me out to a restaurant for a very small meal, or I'm getting monthly, weekly payments, something like a Paul Botel, or something else, which we're going to see now. That's, again, let's get into it. Let's start the Shiur, and we'll see, and we're gonna revisit the basic concepts again and again. Remember, it's a derabanan. How do I know it's derabanan? Soon we're gonna see. Bnei Rav Ilish, story time. Bnei Rav Ilish, 5 lines from the bottom of the page. Sameches Amud Beis. The children of Rav Ilish was an Amora who obviously kept halacha l'mahadrin, and obviously would not be involved in Ribbis. He died. Bnei Rav Ilish. Now his children, they are now looking into the Yerusha, the will, the inheritance. Nofak alayu ha'ush Toro. All of a sudden they saw a star. The question is who's holding the star? That's Machlokes Rishonim. But there was a star there. There was a document there saying, let's say they found it amongst the papers of the father, let's say. It was written in the star as follows: Palga be'agar, palga behefsed, which means it looked like Rav Ilish, their beloved tzaddik of the father, was involved in Iska. What did it say in the shtar? The shtar said that Rav Ilish is the worker in the story. Yeah, he's the one doing the legwork. He's the one doing the actual business, the actual work, the work for some other guy who invested. And you know what it says in the shtar? Palga be'agar, palga be'hefsed. Bad news. Because what does it mean? That I'm going to give you, I don't know, 200 shoes, I don't know, $1,000, whatever that means, a horse, a cow, whatever, a horseshoe, whatever he gives him. And what? Palga behefsed. If we're going to lose, it's going to be half-half, which means if instead of the 1,000 shekel I gave you, now it's going to be 800, you have to give me 900 to compensate me for my half. Your half is yours. My half, give me back, says the investor. That's alvo. And palga besachar, change the order, lo meshane. And palga be'agar, if we make it big and the 1,000 become 10,000, we'll split 5-5. That is a big problem. So what was the story? We're not only concerned here about Rav Ilish's good name. It's a monetary question. What's a monetary question? Machlokes rishonim. One pshat could be, well, are they supposed to actually follow the shtar? Comes the guy to the house, yeah, Mr. Investor, knocks on the door and says, give me the 2 million. You know what the 2 million in the bank are? They're the 2 million from that, and it proves to be right. Yeah. In other words, what your father made for me is what I gained. And now I'm owed that thing. That's one pshat. In other words, the question is as follows: should they follow and give him what seems to be Ribbis? Because retrospectively, the father's work, when he did the legwork and ran around, that was the Ribbis. Because there's Ribbis involved, one of the Rishonim here says, I saw a lot of Rishonim here. Actually, here we sat a long time on this sugya. I remember who says what. One of the Rishonim says, I think Tosas maybe, he says that really, because it's a treifa heskem, it's a treifa operate, it's a treifa, agreement, he's not going to get any of the profit. Wow. Maybe. In other words, if it's a treifa profit, heskem, a treifa agreement, then Mr. Investor is not allowed to take it. Even though the Ribbis was already given by the work, yeah, we can now deduct it by telling him you're not getting the money, any of the money. Wow, it's a big chiddush. Maybe it's a knas or a gzeira. This is what Rishonim say. Now the question is, does he deserve the money or not? On one hand, I would say, no. If Utaker are so stark and we can't, remember the Shulchan Aruch that says that if the Karen and the Ribbis are mixed up together, you don't give them out anything. Maybe that's the case over here. Maybe. It's hard to siphon out the Ribbis from the Karen. The Ribbis was work. So Mimele, he's not going to get anything. On the other hand, Rav Ilish, you really believe Rav Ilish would do such a thing? Says the Gemara, now, you could say, by the way, I'm raising the finger, I'm allowing myself to talk now, maybe they had a Baal Peh agreement. Oh, Baruch Shekivanti to the peanut gallery. Maybe Enachinami, there was what? Maybe the shtar said half, doesn't look good, but Lemaise, maybe Baal Peh, they said, you know what, tomorrow come with me for lunch, and we'll sweep, as we say in Hebrew, we'll sweep up the hummus together. Then I gave us a hummus together. Yeah, swipe the card. Maybe it was. Say the Rishonim, doesn't make sense so much. There is an opinion like that later. Doesn't make so much sense because the shtar itself looks treif. A great person like Rav Ilish wouldn't have left a shtar that looks very bad and rely on fixing the shtar in a Baal Peh agreement. Yeah. In other words, yeah, if a person looks choshev, is not going to scream, I ate chazer, and then whisper to one friend, it's a joke, that's kosher in Mahadrim. You know what I'm saying? You don't make a shtar that looks strafe and rely on a Baal Peh, something to fix it up. So it looks strafe. So how do you explain that? Omar Rove, says Rove, they came to Rove for Din Torah. Rove was a dain in Mechoizo, they came for Din Torah. The children say, maybe our father did a treifa heskem, we won't give you the money. And the guy said, no, there was a kosher heskem, and therefore I deserve the money. Omar Rove, Rav Ilish Gavre Rabahu. Rav Ilish is a great person. He wouldn't have fed people Isser, which means there's an issue here of Lifnei Iver, which means he's a loive in the story, Kivyochel, right? In such a heskem, he is a loive. Seder Rishonim, unbelievable. Why do we assume that the heskem was kosher? Because Rav Ilish wouldn't be involved in it because he wouldn't allow the other person to sin. He wouldn't be the object of sin of the person malve. I'm asking, and many Rishonim ask, Ravana Shalom, in Ribbis, are you allowed to be loive in Ribbis? You're allowed to borrow in Ribbis? No, without lifnei iver. You're not allowed to be a partner in Ribbis anyways. From here, all the Rishonim prove one after the other that this is derabanan, and Ribbis derabanan, you're allowed to be a loive. Wow. Rabbanan only made the gzera on the malve because he's the really mean guy. He's the one who's taking a noishech. But the person loive, although the orisa, Ribbis the orisa, you're not allowed to be the loive. Ribbis the rabbanan, you're allowed to be the loive mitzad the isser Ribbis. Obazoi, there's still another isser of what? With neither. Right? If I serve someone else chazir, it's mahadrin and mahadrin. Never, no, only ed charedis. Yeah, but the chazir serve the other person lifneiver. So that's why we assumed that the heskem, that the agreement was kosher, because although the rabbanon, it's still an isser mitzad lifneiver for him to play the role of the love in the show and allow him. So, but lemaisa, I'm sorry. How do you explain such a star? Black and white, it says half. Rava, with his genius now, is going to re-explain that agreement of half schar, half said, in a way that will make it kosher. And the Rishonim explain if Rav Ilish wouldn't have been a great person, would be a regular Joe Schmo from the market, from the shuk, and a chinami would say it's a treifa agreement. It's a treifa agreement, and you don't follow through after his death. Since Rav Ilish was a very great person, it just cannot be that he blatantly broke such an Isser derabanan, clearly all over the place, and therefore we're reinterpreting his heskem. How do you interpret it? I cannot use the whiteboard for weather reasons, but it's not really difficult. It's actually, the concept is very easy to understand. Explain Rava as follows. Manafshach, the agreement was, with the agreement, when we said half, we did not, Rav Ilish and the other guy, did not mean to say whatever happens, gain is 50-50 and loss is 50-50. They meant something else. Manafshach, they meant two different directions, which are really one, which means ipalga be'agar, one form of agreement is as follows. Ipalga be'agar, if the gain, let's say gave him 1,000 and they're going to make it big millions, the palga be'agar, what's palga? Half, agar, agra, schar. If we'll make it big, gain, profit, money, dinero, and geld will come through. We'll split half. Trei tilti behefsed. If we see that the gain will be half, that's going to be where the wind is going to blow, then I allow you, Rav Ilish, to preserve yourself the rights, to reserve the rights, that if there's a loss, you only have to pay for a third. Uneven. We tip the scales, tip the balance. When is there a problem of Ribbis? When I have a halva of 50-50, and the gain is 50-50. That's bad because I'm not gaining anything. I'm gaining just my part, but why am I working for you? By you, it's your 50-50. But if we say that I gain 50 out of the 100, but in case of loss, I, the worker of Ilish, only have to pay you a third. Yeah, let's say there's a loss of no numbers of 1,000. The whole 1,000 is lost. I only have to give you 333.333 only, and not half. Only a third is what I have to. That's not proper halva, because there is one part of it that's not halva. That's 1/6. Macharusa told me, right? The difference between a third and a half is a sixth, right? No, we don't split it. The sixth itself goes to Rav Ilish's pocket because he doesn't have to pay it. So that imbalance is good for Rav Ilish is gaining. My conditions are better than just even scales. If I gain half. And if I lose less than half. I'm only going to lose a third. That's the bingo card. That's the ace card in the corner. That is his incentive to work besides being alvo. It's not proper alvo. Meaning regarding that 6, that difference between the third and half, it's not alvo. Because Rav Ilish, even though he lost it completely, he doesn't have to pay for it. It's such an gain. He will gain that. The equivalent in gain, he will gain an entire 50%. That unfair imbalance is good for the gain of Rav Ilish over the other guy, and that's allowed. That's even better, much better than drinking Coke with him in the restaurant or some hummus, no questions now, or some hummus or some small thing. It's mamish a whole 6, yeah, that he's gaining indirectly, and the other way. And on the other hand, says the Gemara, "Ipalga behefsed." I'm sorry, I got excited. Yeah, it's okay. Can ask questions soon. Yeah. Ipalga behefsed, trei tilti be'aga. On the other hand, let's say the hefsed is half. Let's say the guy says, I gave you 1,000. No, If you lose the one dime below the 500, you pay. In other words, it's very strict about what? The loss. Rav Ilish has to be very responsible for what? For any loss of the 50% of the investor, which means it's a loan. You have to pay from your own pocket for one tiny year. Then, then the gain is going to gain 2/3 of the millions that are coming. That's what half-half means. Doesn't mean half-half. Half-half means in two separate scenarios. You either gain half or lose less, or you lose half and you gain more. Mark my words. Every word I said now was mechuvan. Yeah? Get it? That's half-half, which means whatever happens, you'll always be on the winning side, you're Rav Ilish. And that is an incentive for you, and that's not called alva. And that's how we interpret the shtar written by Rav Ilish. Thank you. I'll be listening very nicely to your question very soon. That is what Rav Ilish's agreement was. And therefore, we assume it's a kosher agreement, which means that now the investor will get whatever he invested, because surely when Rav Ilish said half-half, he meant either half gain and less loss, right? Or half loss and more gain. There's always, the balance will always be pro Rav Ilish in such a way that is an incentive which is not called proper halva, and I'm working like a chamor, excuse my language, for your half just because you're the big bad investor, not bad, the big Malva Ribbis investor. That's how we got out of trouble. And I'm very happy to hear all your questions right now. I want to thank Baruch for the good question. Thank you very much. And I'll repeat what you said. Compliment for you. And that is, where is the Malva in the story, the investor? Is he mute? Is he on mute in Zoom? Where is he in the story? What does he say? My answer is, could be the investor also said there was a kosher agreement, and therefore should take the money. But he's no Gabadover. Since when do you believe a Baldover? Of course, every Baldin tells you tall tales, or maybe they're true, maybe they're not. Or you can't. I need Rava to say that, not the Baldover. Let's continue. Very nice. However, Omar of Kana, let's continue. Omar of Kana, now Rav Kana continues on the same topic. I said that sugya, I shared that sugya with Rav Zvid from Nardo, the Omali, and he told me he has another solution which beforehand the Rishonim rejected, but he does hold of that solution. Dilma, maybe Rav Ilish toivel imo betzir hava. Maybe there was a zaitadik side balpeh oral agreement between them that although the heskem is straight on paper, half completely, not Rava's half third, but Lemaisa, they said afterwards, let's go for lunch and I'll treat you for lunch, said the investor to Rav Ilish. Rav Ilish says, wow, that's nice and cool. That's my incentive. And that's what kosherizes it. How do you know that to make such a small thing of just, a bit of hummus or one gorgeres is good enough? Rav Nachman, as we saw yesterday at the end of Shiur, the bottom of the previous Amud, Rav Nachman was a dayan. Rav Nachman says, halachic Rav Yehuda. Rav Nachman says, halachic is Rav Yehuda that paskins what? Out of all three options, Rav Yehuda was the lowest one. Just a very quick, chatif, as we say, snack to eat with him is good enough. Halachic is Rav Yehuda. And we assume Rav Nachman is the one who knows halacha, and he said halachic is Rav Yehuda. I wanted to remind you, Rav Nachman sided with everybody that's being easy on the malve, on the investor. Rav Yehuda, that says, if it's a poya that works all day long, you don't have to give him a salary, just a quick meal. Second one was the opinion of Rav Yehuda, Rabbi Yosef Bar Yehuda, that says regarding the person who's breeding the sheep and the goats, a bit of semen, a bit of the leftover wool or leftover whey of the milk is good enough. And the third one was Reb Shimon that says with a woman with the eggs, that every once in a while there's an egg that's not fertilized, which we eat for breakfast, the sunny side up, that occasional egg is a good sachar for the half-half agreement between women over the eggs. So Lemaisa, halach is always like the makel. That's what Rav Nachman said. Oh, makes sense that Rav Ilish followed that. He didn't write it in the shtar, and he wasn't concerned of Marisain. Says the Gemara, the Gemara anyhow rejects it from a different direction. Omer lei lav hilchasa itmar. That's not true. No. He did not, when Rav Nachman said halacha is like so and so, he didn't mean to say the halacha is like them. Elashita itmar. All he wanted to say was, like some Amoroim do, he just collated and collected three shitas that are similar. He observed and he said, these three opinions, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yehuda, Rabbi Yosef Bar Yehuda, and Rabbi Shimon, they all all basically on the same wavelength of giving minimum sachar. But he doesn't say that this is halacha lemaise. And hachinami mistabra, and it makes sense to say that it didn't say halacha is like them. If you don't say that, if you really think that he sided with them halacha lemaise, you always give the minimum. Why did you have to repeat the same concept 3 times? Halacha lakim, halacha lakim, halacha lakim. He was an Amira. He saved his words. Lema, he could have said much simpler. Halacha kel biuda, demekil mikulu. He could have said very easily, simply, in the 3 machloikesim, which one is the one who says, out of the 3 opinions, each one is an opinion in a different machloikes, appears in different machloikes. So which one is the most miserly? Which one is the one that allows the malvet to get away with the minimum? Rav Yehuda. The one opinion says the way of the milk, that could be a lot of whey, and a lot of tzemer that falls off the sheep here and there. The one who speaks about eggs, that's gesund eggs. I don't know how often. I'm not a how do you call it, a person who breeds hens. I don't know, say it in fancy English. I don't know. A what? A connoisseur of chicken breeding. Yeah. So mimela, balamaisa, the egg that comes out without a chick is quite common. But Sheikh Rabbi Yehuda says just to take him to a restaurant, could be even once only, Baruch. I took him once to a small restaurant that gave him a little bit of coffee, a little bit of hummus, very, very small for all the work. That's good enough. Something symbolic. Excuse me. It's symbolic. So mimela, Rabbi Yehuda, if Allah is like Rabbi Yehuda, kol sheken v'kol sheken, the other machloikesim, Allah like the opinions that say a few good eggs, or some whey milk, avada. So why did you repeat it again and again? He didn't mean to say Allah is like them. He just observed and he said that they're all part of the same besmedrish, that they're all coming from the same wavelength, from the same idea. By the way, the one who does it many, many times all over Shas is Abaye. Abaye many, many times says Omar Abaye in Sukkah, it appears, about who holds the Sukkah as dearest Keva, Arai. In other words, many other places, Abaye is the one who observes and he says, all these opinions, in the middle of the Masechta, Abaye, speaks up and says, boom, 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 this Tana, Mara, really, they're all coming from the same wavelength. Sometimes it's a surprise for us. Here, it's all in the same page. Many times it appears in many different pages, and Abai like stops and, takes stocks and says, boom, 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 boom. They really all come from the same direction. It's sometimes, he needs a lot of deep thought. End of Inyan of Rav Ilish. So now we saw a third way to get out of a problem of an iska. That is what? If the gain and the loss are imbalanced in favor of the worker, then it's good. I'm not a friar anymore. It's true that I'm working myself off for his part. That's his millions, not mine. But I have an incentive because it's tilted that way, the scales, that I will always make more than him, even a little bit. And therefore, that's enough as an incentive. I'm not called just working chinam for the malveh. Weiter. Okay. Omar Rav. Next case. Another kind of agreement. Omar Rav. Moisar shlish bischorcho arei ze mutar. What's going on over here? So explains Rashi as follows. Says Rav. Moisar shlish bischorcho arei ze mutar. Let's say the person, the investor, tells the worker, tells the poil, listen, right now you start breeding the horse. Now it's worth 1,000 shekels, 2,000, 3,000. When at the beginning we're going to go half-half in the loss, half-half in the profit. Bad news. Something here has to be. We want to add something, right? Tilt the balance for the worker to avoid ribbis. Don't worry. Once the animal or the schoir or whatever will make a profit of 1/3 of its value, which means the horse is now worth 1,000. Once it will reach 1,333.333, at that point, all the gains past that point will be yours. Wow. Right now, it's only half-half, right? Chetzi, chetzi. But above 1/3 of now will be completely yours. Wow. So, in a way, it's very tempting because why? Once it will be 1/3 more, then what? Then, avada, I'll be the rich guy, richer than him, says the worker. On the other hand, right now, he's a friar. He works half-half. He works for the half of the investor. And right now, is he a prophet? How does he know they will make more than 1/3? Maybe the horse will die. Maybe the horse will be very non-compliant. Maybe the horse will be disobedient. Maybe the horse has ADHD. No Ritalin for horses. I don't know. In other words, he's taking a risk. He's one of these risk takers, this businessman you always read about. Yeah. Oh, he's one of these guys who right now works like a doormat, but once it's going to be a third, then he'll be the big boss. Then he'll take all the gains. So that's a very interesting kind of thing. It's like a lottery ticket, which means now nothing more than the other guy. In future, after a third, then I'll be the big boss. Then I'll rake in all the profits. Says Rav, Omar Rav. Now it's very important how to read the words, how to be menaked. Omar Rav, moisar shlish beschorcho. Above moisar, if it's above more than a third, will be your schar. Once it's above a third, the floor is yours. Areze mutar. That's allowed. Says Rav, that's called substantial enough, concrete enough to say that this is called a sechar, and now he's allowed to start working. Even though right now he's working every other day for the other guy, just because he's an investor, but because he has that start twinkling in his mind in the back burner, the one day will become more than a third, and that'll be the big boss. That's good enough. Okay. No, half the days is for him, because right now he's making half. No, up to a third he's gaining half. No, if they split it before it became a 1-3-3-3, then he's also taking half. Yes, he's not that bad. Ad kedei kach. Yeah. The Maldi gave him the horse or the money or whatever. No. He does work the half. No, again, that's the basics. He has to work. He works 6 days a week. He works even on Shabbos. He feeds the animal because it's his animal. He's allowed to. So Lemaisa, he's working also for the other person, for the investor. Why is he working for the investor? Right now, he's not getting his days is working because he's gaining half. If they split before it becomes a third over, it's half. But why is he working the other days? That's because it says, because I'm hoping in future I'll be the big one. So it's kedai, I'll be the sole owner eventually once it's above thing. Shmuel Omar, loy motz moiso shlish yelch lebeiso reikan. Shmuel says, excuse me, if at the end of the day shlish will not be found, let's say it will not make it to the point of, let's say 333 of a third of the gain. Yeah, the horse is going to die or I don't know, disappear or just not develop more. It just won't be in the market with a nice horse, but nobody will buy it more than 1,300, let's say. Then what? Is going to go home empty-handed? Says Shmuel, that's not enough of a concrete incentive. That's not something concrete and real. Even if he agrees to that, we don't agree to that. Why? Because Lamaisa, that's not called working for something real that you have in your hands right now. So it's not enough to avoid the problem of Ribbis. Elo Shmuel, therefore says Shmuel, Koitetz lo dinar explains the Ritva. What's Koitetz Rashi and then the Ritva? Koitetz lo dinar means you have to have, even before you made it to the third, when it's 1,001, 2, 3, 4, blah, 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 anywhere between 1,000 and 1,300, 3, at that point, you also have to give him 1 dinar. 1 dinar is more than a te'ena, more than the little, very small thing of Yehuda, but less than the poel. It's Shmuel's own idea, not as the only incentive. That cannot be the only incentive, says the Ritva, because none of the Tanoim said that 1 dinar is an incentive, right? We spoke about other numbers. Says Shmuel Nachon. It means that you get the big prize will come if you make it more than a third, will be all yours. That's an incentive. Meanwhile, you have consolation prize. That's how I called it. Yeah. In other words, if he doesn't make it big to a third more, then really the dinar will be yours. So you have something in your hand whatsoever. It's a lottery ticket, right? And they say, right now you gain 50 shekels. Whoever wins the lottery of the yeshiva can get a big house in Los Angeles. I don't know what, but everybody who gains gets $100 prize, right? Yeah. In other words, you'll anyhow get 1 dinar. Oh, that's something to work for. But the big prize in my mind, the Brooklyn Bridge prize, is if it becomes a third, then it'll be all mine. That is okay because it's concrete enough. You also have the big dreams, and you also have the something in your hand. According to Shmuel, that's good enough. Give me a minute. Frag the Gemara, v'sova Rav ein kotzitz l'dina. According to Rav, we say no. Let's go back to Rav. Rav says no. Rav says dreams are real. The mere fact he has something in his hand, what is that? Ticket, the lottery, the chance, the hope. Why do people buy lottery tickets all the time for thousands of shekels? The hope he'll gain one day, but that's worth money. Mimela says, but is that really what Rav thinks? Does Rav believe that even without the concrete dinar on the way to the third, before he got the third, is that good enough? Just the hopes of getting the third and then becoming the only marviach, is that really good enough? Yes. Okay. Before we continue, I want to thank again the person who asked the question. Wait, no. He's not giving him a dinar now, which means if we split it before it reached a third, or it just never made it more than a third, 10 years and that little horse is only 1,300. Then at some point we'll split. Iska means there won't be partners forever. It's not a Catholic marriage over here, yeah? And therefore what? If we split before a third, you'll get half-half plus a dinar for you, the worker. If we split it above third, no need for a dinar. The dinar never materialized. If we split it above third, you'll be the only marviach. Any gain from 133 above and more will be only yours. I'm getting half-half. I'm the investor. I'll get half-half of up to. We'll make the cheshbon. We'll make a cheshbon. The horse is now 2,000. He's 2,000. So the gain between 333 is half-half. 333 divided to 2 is whatever it is. Yeah, we do half-half. And above 333 to 1,000 will be only yours, the worker. Get it? So you don't need the dinar. We never came to it. We never came to it. That's the answer. We never came to giving him a dinar.
To make sure, because since
no,
you don't know
dinar is by splitting. Right. But
so
yeah,
you're planting the dinar in his pocket.
No, not yet. Again, the dinar will be given to once they split. Once they split and they go half-half because there was no above third, then besides the half you got, which is let's say 1,333 divided to 2, plus a dinar, that's what the worker will get. He didn't get it before. That's the answer to your question. Let's continue. Frag the Gemara, does Rav believe he can only build on the person's dreams to get from above third without giving him a dinar if they split before? Is that so? Rav seems to be saying differently. Look at the Rav's other statement. Reish egla lepituma. That's very interesting. Let's say I gave you an egel, I gave you a calf to be mefatem. In Hebrew, what's mefatem? Ptumi meaning to feed him, force feed him, and lo they do it. Yeah, to feed him well, feed him very well until he becomes very fat, the best steak in town. And I gave it to you for what? Half-half. Ooh, half-half. That's problem. Reish egla. You'll get half, Mr. Worker, plus what will you get? The head of the bull. Apparently, the head of the bull is the choshev thing. Some, I don't know, symbolically or really, it's like a valuable thing. And the reish egla, you'll get half-half plus the reish egla. That's very good. Yeah. However, what? The tongue. I was thinking about it. The tongue, if you don't give it to a coin, the tongue is worth a lot of money. It's very tasty, right? Yeah. Come to my wife. Yeah. Reish egla lepituma. So now, reish egla lepituma. Now, what I said now was wrong, and I said it on purpose wrong. Just to give him half plus Rosh Egel, again, is nothing we heard of. It's not a good solution. It's not a good substitute to eating in a restaurant or for giving him Schar Kepol Botel. We never found any Tana says that. So what says the Ritva? So what did Rav mean? I'm giving you the head of the bull. My love must be the Omer le Moiser Shlish Bischorcho. That's the catch. Which means, I told you like this. Listen, mister. Half the bull to me, half the bull to you, if it did not yet reach a third. Once it reaches a third more of the value, then you'll get what? Everything. What about the fact that up to a third it's half? That consolation prize is what? Is the head of the bull. Meaning, the head of the bull of Rav is like the dinar of Shmuel, but it's the same concept. Which means Rav also requires something in his hand in case they split it before it's a third. So Rav seems to be contradicting himself. Rav does want something real and concrete before the Brooklyn Bridge is sold to you, before he makes an extra third. Answers Gemara Loi. No, not true. He told him the agreement was different. Before it's a third, nothing. Before it reaches a third, we're half-half. And it's not a problem of Ribbis. No, Ribbis half-half. Yeah. Because once it reaches the shlish, then you have two options to choose from. Irish egla lepituma. That's it. You can either get all the gains above third, or you can get the head of the bull. For some reason, the head of the bull is a very choshev thing. I'm not sure why. Yeah, the head of the bull is a choshev azach. Yeah, so mimela, the tongue, the cheek, matnes kiuna, loyda, ruchnes thing, the horns, loyda. It's nice to put it in the, to put the, whatever. So, okay. You mean for the bull, it's important to have the head, yeah. So Lamaisa, we're saying like this. Rav sticks to his guns. Rav says, as long as we didn't make it to a third, we can just split half-half. Why is there no ribbis? Because you got the promise, you got the hope. Once you'll be a good boy, it's a very good incentive, right? If you're a good worker and you really put your kishkas into it, yeah, and it will be a third more than it is now, whoa, then either you'll get all the profits once we, above third once we split, or instead of all the profits, you get the Rosh Egel. I'm not sure why this is so choshuv, but the Rosh Egel is a very choshuv thing. But the Lamaisa Rav stuck to his guns. Ibois Ema, or another alternative, and here comes a big Yesoid in Halacha, in the whole sugya. Big Yesoid, red alert. Ki kama Rav Moiser Shlish B'Schocho Mutar. You know when Rav said that giving that not pipe dream, that hope, that chance of once we get to above third, then it will be all yours. Those gains will be all yours, and that's allowed. Kegoin de isle behema ledidei. Mr. Bull breeder, the one who actually breeds the bull, the horse, or whatever, already has other animals in his farm. It's not the only baby that is sitting. He's not the only baby cow, the calf that is sitting. He has other animals in his possession belonging to him that he anyhow has to feed and tend and help them. The Amri Inshi, people say, Gabi letoiro, Gabi letoirei, singular and plural. If you have to mix the food, yeah, if you have to megabel, if you have to take care and tend to one horse, then you can already do that for the other horse as well. Which means, let's say the guy, to make it a bit more, picturesque, let's say Mr. Shore Breeder, who keeps complaining, or halacha complains for him, why is he working so hard for your shore, mister? Yeah, I'm from the anti-Ribbis / workers union. Why is that working, the feudal system, yeah? Why is that poor guy working for you, Mr. Big Boss, working all the time, also in the days that belong to you, right? Because you're the big investor. That's Ribbis, not nice. However, this guy, anyhow, has a whole kindergarten, he has a whole bull garden of what? Of other bulls he has to take care of. He has all the Zisa Kinderlach of the cows, all the calves that he has to take care of and feed and clean, v'chule. Here's number 6. He added another kid to the gun. He added another one to the babysitting. It's much easier work. He has a cowshed. He has a system. He knows all the suppliers of the animal food, v'chule. He anyhow spends time dealing with the other calves. No, one more. The amount of tircha is double minimal. What's double minimal? Remember Tosfos in the Mishnah? Tosfos said that stam taking care of an animal is not a whole day job. Yeah, the animals, the farm animals, they run around themselves. If you only have one or two, unless you're a farmer, mamish, yeah. But I'm saying to take care of one animal is not the entire day's job. People can feed it in the morning, go to work in the law office, and then come back and feed it later, right? Or ask someone else to do it for a few shekels. This guy, even less than that. This guy already has his own animals to look after. He just joined yours to his chevra, to his gun, to his babysitting. Mimela, it's so minimal. The amount of tircha, says the Ritva, the Ritva says, and not the Rashi. Rashi can be confusing. Rashi says no tircha. The Ritva says en tircha kol kach. You don't have a lot of tircha there. So for that minimal tircha, that kind of sachar of the Brooklyn Bridge, once it will be a third above, is good enough for that. Again, says Rav, I know how you look at me, says Rav. You think that I say what? That if people have the hopes of once it's a third more, then we'll make it big. You say, that is not real substantial thing. True, it's a very small product. How much do you pay for a lottery ticket of 10 million? 50 shekels, way less. You're buying the chance. Okay, shkoyach. That is, the work you do is so minimal, is so below nothing. Just added another calf to your chevra, it's almost nothing. Therefore, that amount of tircha, that amount of small tircha, you can compensate with a small idea of hoping to make more than a third. That's my pshat in the sugya, and I think it's true. That's misader everything. And Shmuel says no. Shmuel says no. Shmuel says no. Shmuel says in order to get out of Ribbis, you always have to have something real in your hand once they split. If they split and it's below 3, and just have FF, although it's a little bit, but it's something. Chavrus understood Shmuel better. It's shvepruta. It's something you have to compensate with a real hardcore thing, and not just with the idea that one day will be above a third. But we can understand both sides of the Chlukas Rav Shmuel. Very nice. Yishtabach Shmuel Ad. Yeah, I'm listening. Next case, these are all very interesting cases. Let's go to the next case. Abelozo mehagrunia. Yeah, this story is brought down. All this is brought in Shulchan Aruch also, of course. And now comes another case which will become a lochel lemaisa. Abelozo mehagrunia. And Amayro, Abelozo mehagrunia. Zabin behema. Important to know, he bought the animal from his own money, meaning that the worker, as in most cases here, the worker is not a partner, right? In all the cases up until now, the worker is not a partner in the money, right? The money guy is not an investor that shares. Is right? There's 100% investor, and the other guy is 100% worker. So far, that was very clear. And the next case will also be the same until da 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 da. Zabin beima v'yoiv le aris. He gave the animal to his aris, to what you call the sharecropper. Yeah, in other words, he gave it to a guy who already worked for him in other jobs. Just open the little window in your mind and minimize it. Just remember for the hemshech of the sugya that this guy already has a work relationship with Mr. Investor. Is that a guy he met in the market or in the hospital or somewhere? This is his own guy who does other jobs for him. He tends to the field, takes care of the flowers, maybe the babies, I don't know, whatever. So just remember that, okay? And now we'll continue. Now the aris does what it's supposed to be doing. And what was this story? Mefatim le, he fed him. And the agreement was that what? The agreement was v'yayiv le reisha be'agre. He gave him, he worked 6 days a week. Who? The worker. On whose animal? Animal belongs only to the owner, which is Rav Ilish. If he's going to get half, v'yayiv palga ravcha. He gave him half the revach, but he also gave him the head. So far, so good, right? In other words, what did he do so far? So far, half, but what tilts the scales in favor of the worker? The head, which means when the time will come, and the time came, that's a real life story. The time came after some time, no third is not an Indian here. Came the time, became a big fat animal, the aris came smiling broadly, look at that. Yeah, before and after, just the opposite from the diet, pamphlets. Before and after, before he was small and emaciated, now he's big and fat. My fattening diet really works, says the aris. What do you do now? Split half, shecht it, half. Ribbis, no. They made an agreement. What? The head. Very good. You get the half, I get the half, but the head, the choshev, the head of the bull, which is the choshev azach, the worker got. Very nice. So far, so good. Nice. Until the woman interfered. Amar le dvitu, the wife of the aris, she is the chochamte. She, the wife of the aris, told the aris, excuse me, imesh tateft bahadei, you know what? Next time when you buy the next animal, you should become more of a chochem kluge. If you will partner with him, yaiv lechnami alita, he will also give you the aliyah, the big fat tail, which we'll learn in this week's parsha of the sheep. Yeah, let's say it's a sheep, not a bull. Yeah. The sheep have very fat, nice tail, which Ashkenazim usually don't eat, yeah? But Lamaisa, let's say you'll partner with him, you become more choshu. That was her idea. You'll partner with him, he won't just give you the head, he'll also give you the tail. Was her Havamina completely stupid? No. Excuse me for the word, I know you don't like it, yeah? What? She thought, listen to what she said. No, beforehand, he split half with him. And the extra that the aris got was what? The head. His wife got greedy, and she thinks she's very innovative, and she's, pushing her husband. Behind every great man stands a woman. That's a woman of the aris, the wife of the aris. And she says, listen, I see you worked hard to give you the head. If you'll partner with him, like every lawyer, I don't know, every lawyer, some lawyers want to be partners in the firm, right? If you become a partner and the next animal you're going to buy, you'll partner with the money, then surely you'll give you even more. There'll be more choshuv. In the Belvati Shemayin, she's right. Yeah, in other words, the more you're involved in the investment, you'll get more profit. La halacha, she's completely wrong. If you think, by your knowledge now, you should realize what she says is wrong. However, Toises and Toises Rosh do explain her Havamina. That's a Gemara, you have to show the feminists. Yeah, we're very machshav the woman's opinion. Yeah, the Toises Rosh explains she wasn't stupid. She thought like that. Up until now, who was the only owner? Rav Ilish, the Amora. Why are you working for him? Because you hope that one day you'll split you will become the owner of half of the big fat animal of the future. With that, you work everything together. But if you really, and therefore, yes, and even then, he gives you the head. If you lechatchila split, in other words, what are partners? For the first time now, she's suggesting something which we haven't seen in the sugya. What say if they partner together and one partner works for both sides? In a way, it's even worse. Lefi her havamim, it's worse. Why? Because you're clearly not the owner, not currently, and not potentially, and not bichlal. It's mamish clearly split. Only half an animal is yours. Only Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday is already now yours completely with your money. And Monday, Wednesday, Friday are his days. Why are you working his days? It's even more unfair. She thought it's not a ribbis issue. She thought it's maybe fairness issue. Mimelo, of course, he'll give you the alita. He'll give you the head and the tail. Because it's more clearly separated right from the start. It's as if you have a sign, this is mine, this is yours, and I'm still working by yours. So of course you deserve more. Give me a second. That was her Havamina. That was her thought. Yes, okay, I'm hearing you. Well, we have to finish soon. Yeah. Continues the Gemara. So now he followed her advice. Yeah. Ozal Zabin Bade. He went ahead and bought the next animal he bought, probably a sheep. He bought who? The worker, the aris, together with Rablozo. Now they're partners. Poliglei me'alisa. Now he gave him half the aliyah. Yeah, half the aliyah. Only gave him half the aliyah, not all the aliyah. What? No, because it's all half. Wait. Omar le Rablozo comes Rablozo and says, let's split the head. They split each and every organ. It's mamash half. Comes the Oris, following his wife's advice, and says, Omerle, the Oris says, what? I thought I'm gaining more. I'm doing even worse than the first time. The first time, I got half, and the head was exclusively mine. Now, nothing is exclusively mine, right? Because why? He didn't know why. He followed his wife's foolish advice. And what? And really, what was the story? I'm not getting even any extra. We're being half with a ruler like that. Why? Omar Lei explains to him, Rab Lozer, to the Oris, the basics of the sugya. Ada idna, up until now in the previous cases, Zuzi didihavu. I was the money man. You're right, parrots. Zuzi didihavu. The money was exclusively mine. I was the only one and only investor. If I wouldn't give you a little bit more, meaning the head, mechzik Ribbis. It looks like Ribbis. That's the whole sugya al regel achas. If I'm the only money man and I'm really a malve, which I was, if I don't give you extra, it looks like Ribbis. Hashta shutfi anan. We are shutfim. Wait a second. It's not so simple. Mitzad Ribbis, there's no Ribbis. Why? Because shutfus means what? We're split right from the start, right from the beginning. Not split, but I'm saying you're not working for me. Sorry, excuse me. I'm not lending you money. That's what I mean. I didn't lend you money. You gave as much money as I did. Money-wise, we're both equal. I never gave you money. I gave money to the seller, 50. You gave to the seller, 50. However, excuse me, the lady has a point. Now, let's forget about Ribbis. It's some unfair. If you and I are partners in your motorcycle, why should I be the only one taking care of the motorcycle? I also don't know how to do it. Micah Omar, what are you going to say? You still have a claim stam, mitzad fairness. I still worked a little bit harder, and not much, but I'm anyhow taking care of the animal, but I did your days also, so you still have a claim, nothing to do with Ribbis. If we are partners, why should I be doing all the work, right? You open a store with another guy, 50-50 and everything. Why should I be standing in the store every day and you have nice time with your family, right? It's not fair. On that, I have an answer. Now we're back to square one. You remember the guy was an Oris. Amri Inshi, people say, and the right, Stam Arisa, a regular Oris, unless known otherwise, Lemari Ara Kemishabed Nafshe. He's meshubad to do all kinds of small jobs for free for his owner, Latuye Leiraya, such as to bring him food for the animals, which means the Oris, a worker, what we call in Hebrew, has to have a Rosh Gadol. Think a little bit above, out of the box, not just do the minimum. It's very normal for an Oris who anyhow is working for me as an Oris all over my fields, is like a regular, to do kind of man, like a handyman who does all kinds of things. he's supposed to do here and there extra things for the owner without being paid a penny for every little cup of water that he serves him. And because you are an aris, therefore the fact he works for me also is not something that justifies half a head or half an aliyah. Give you a nice note before next Hanukkah for the worker. But it doesn't mean you really are owed money, because in general you're an aris. And echnami, it would be two strangers, it would be different. I should pay you for doing my work. Stam, nothing to do with Ribbis. Having said that, you open Shulchan Aruch and you'll see a great surprise. Shulchan Aruch took that point of aris and connected it somewhat to Ribbis, says the Shulchan Aruch. Even in case where there would have been Ribbis, let's say the only investor is the Baal Habais. Baal Habais is the investor, right? And the aris did not bring any money. Still, there's no issue of Ribbis. Why? Because an aris supposed to work for the Baal Habais, and he has another incentive. The aris wants to maintain regular good relationship with his boss. Nothing to do with that particular animal. Which means, let's say I'm the person, I'm the gardener, and I'm the babysitter, and I'm the one doing shopping. I know a very rich family in Chutzar. They have a guy who does all the errands for them. Yeah, there are maybe two other people there. He does a lot of errands for them. A goy. Okay, so he does here and there. They ask him extra things to do. Just because you have to do one extra thing for me, it's like included in your salary. It's included in the Heskem. Therefore, says Shulchan Aruch Mefurish. He says even if the investor is only the Baal Habais with the money, it doesn't look like Ribbis that the aris is working for the Baal Habais. The aris will make half a profit. It's half. No, the fact you're an aris, that's what tips the balance. You're working hard for him not because he's the Malvi who gave you the money. You work for him because he's your general boss. He's your boss who employs you, to speak nicely, all the time. That alone is the reason. It's not so much more from the Sugya. I haven't seen all the Rishonim, but Shulchan Aruch takes it even there. Ad kedei kach. Thank you very much. Atzloch Rabbi. Thank you for listening. And I'm sorry if it was a bit short with the questions, and I do welcome questions now that it's 10:27. Atzloch Rabbi to everybody, YouTube, Torah Anytime, and here in the beautiful Abbas Shalom Torah Center. Thank you very much. Have a great.
Can I ask a question, Rabbi? Rabbi,